Would it surprise you to hear that confidence is a learnable, trainable skill? It is not magic. It is not something only some people can have and others cannot. It is not something you're born with or not. It is a skill you can learn about and train, just like riding a bike or speaking a language. In this episode, I'm going to help you get started training this skill. But first, if you're new here, hello, hello. I'm Jean. I'm an English teacher and content creator, and you're listening to English Extras, a podcast designed to help make English make more sense. If you learned something new today, and I think you will, I encourage you to subscribe so you can continue to learn from me. I post at least one video every week on YouTube and several short videos on Instagram and TikTok. If you're already subscribed, thank you and welcome back. Please consider sharing this episode. It's the best way to support my work completely for free. So let's get started turning you into a confident English speaker. The very first thing we have to talk about is expectations. Because confidence is a skill, you have to learn it. You have to train it. Like Layla Hormozi says, you can't just wish for it. You have to work for it. So if you want to become more confident, you have to accept that you will have to change some of your actions and behave a little differently than you normally would. You cannot continue the same behaviors and expect to become confident. And because it is something you learn, it will follow the typical learning journey. So you should expect to put in effort. You should expect to feel some frustration because progress is not a straight line. You should expect to feel uncomfortable, uncertain, and unhappy sometimes. Take some time to think about your expectations. Reasonable expectations will smooth the journey for you. Now, after you examine your expectations, what happens next? Where does confidence even come from? Confidence comes from action because actions are evidence, and our brains care about evidence, especially patterns. So, if you do something like give a presentation in a meeting at work, your brain is like, oh, we did that. Nice. Evidence gives us more certainty. Notice I'm not saying if you did something well or not. If you're trying to build confidence, then how well you did something is less relevant. It's data, but performing well is not the current goal. What we're focusing on is actually doing something. What matters is starting and completing an action, not the result of the action. If you want to change the way you are now and gain confidence, you have to take action. You cannot improve on something that doesn't exist. Do the actions, then you can take the data from that action and improve over time. Like I said, this is a learnable skill. So if you want to be successful and become confident, you have to adjust your thinking to tolerate, to endure discomfort. In fact, tolerating discomfort in the learning process is like a superpower. That's what separates successful people from unsuccessful people. Why do we freak out when we have to speak in English anyway? Our brains are weird, okay? Our brain's primary goal is to help us survive, to keep our bodies working smoothly. When we do new things, Our brains are like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Why are you trying this new thing? The old thing works just fine. Stop, stop, stop. So, when you try to do something like speak in English, your brain might try to tell you that there's a threat nearby. Speaking English is vulnerable. You are exposing yourself to rejection. And in our brains, rejection equals death. We can't be mad at our brains for this. Our brain is just doing its job. Our brain is protecting us. But one of the best things about being human is that we have choice. We can choose what we do, how we act. We have control over our behavior. This makes us powerful. We can choose to do something even if we're scared. In fact, speaking English, even when you are scared, is the only way to quiet the fear. If you want to become less afraid and more confident, you have to do the thing you're scared of. An amazing thing happens when you do it. When you are afraid and you do something anyway, like open your mouth and speak English, you can experience a huge rush of dopamine. You can say to yourself, oh my gosh, I was terrified, but I did it anyway. Wow, look at me. And then you're more likely to continue this behavior and you will feel good again. So you will repeat it over and over again until you aren't afraid anymore. Here's the most important part. If you want to become confident, you cannot wait. Confidence doesn't come first. You cannot say, I will speak English when I feel confident. If you have this mindset, you will never become confident. You become a confident English speaker after you start speaking in English, even if you're terrified, even if your mind goes blank. You have to teach your brain that you can survive those things. Remember, we're building your ability to tolerate discomfort. It's exactly how you build a muscle in your body. If you want to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, can you look like him only by wishing it? No. You decide to make time in your schedule to go to the gym. In the gym, you pick up weights and you start lifting. It isn't easy. You sweat, your face gets red, your muscles burn, your body shakes. It is uncomfortable. It hurts. And when you're finished, do you look like Arnold Schwarzenegger? Nope. Why? Because doing it one time isn't enough. You have to go home, rest, and then come back to the gym the next day and the day after that and the day after that. That's why so many people don't look like Arnold, because going to the gym is inconvenient, working out is painful, and you don't see results right away. If going to the gym was a party, and if working out felt amazing, and if you only had to do it once, everyone would look like Arnold. Successful people build their ability to tolerate discomfort in the short term and in the long term, because you will do this painful thing over and over again, and you start to think, I should see progress. I should see a difference. And your expectations start to sabotage you and you want to give up. Your brain wants you to give up because all of this trying is exhausting and uncomfortable, and your brain doesn't like it. Your brain wants quiet, normal, average. If you want to succeed, you have to keep going. The only way to fail is to give up. So you have to ask yourself, am I the kind of person who will give up? Or am I the kind of person who will keep trying over and over again? And you decide that, by the way. It is in your control to decide the kind of person you want to be. I talked about this in my previous podcast episode, by the way. So if you want to learn more about self-limiting beliefs, make sure to check that out. Confidence has two pieces, a feeling component and a behavior component. And guess what? You don't have to feel confident in order to look confident. We hyperfixate on feeling confident, but do other people know what we feel? We think people do. We're scared that people know the truth, that they know how scared we really are. But in reality, no, they don't. People know only what you show them. If you show people scared behavior, they will think you feel scared. If you show people confident behavior, they will think you feel confident. It doesn't matter if you really are confident inside. You can look confident and feel shy, and no one would know. What matters is the type of behavior you are showing. You shouldn't try to control your feelings anyway, because you can't. We can't control how we feel, but we can control what we do. Well, really, I should say that we can't directly control how we feel. We can indirectly control how we feel. This is because feelings, behaviors, and beliefs create something called a feedback loop. This means that one influences the other, which influences the other, which influences the other, on and on and on. It isn't linear. It isn't belief, then feeling, then behavior. Instead, it creates a circle. Behaviors influence beliefs, and behaviors influence feelings. It's a web. We are multifaceted, we humans. We have so many different versions of ourselves. We have a version we show to our parents, a version we show to our friends, a version we show to our boss. You have a confident version inside you. We just need to bring that version out. Vin Jiang is a communication expert, and one of the things he says a lot is, you're not shy, you've just been practicing shy behaviors for your entire life. We're starting new behaviors today, this moment. Listening to this podcast is the beginning. And I'm not telling you to go and do the scariest thing possible, by the way. You don't have to start with the biggest, scariest action available to you. I know the expression go big or go home is very popular, but it is not necessary. You can start small. You can start in your native language even. You can start small because learning English is not a race. There is no finish line. There is no deadline. You have so much time to build this skill. There is no need to rush. So start small. Make tiny changes here, tiny changes there, and allow the effects to compound over time. There's a Chinese proverb I love, 拔苗助长. In English, it means pull up the seedlings to help them grow. It sounds like advice, but it's actually a warning. It comes from a story about a farmer who was worried his plants were growing too slowly. So he went to his fields and he pulled the little growing plants up just a little. Do you know what happened? The plants died. So it's an expression warning you not to rush progress. Give yourself time to grow. And one last thing, because I know you might be thinking it, you don't have to be fluent to be confident. Fluency is not required for confidence. In fact, sounding confident actually makes you look more fluent. So, get started today. Think about your expectations. Think about actions. Think about what small actions you can take to start your confidence journey. Don't worry about going fast. Don't worry about feeling uncomfortable. Don't worry about doing badly. Everything is data, data, data. Go get your data. You can do this. I know you can. Until next time, my friends. Bye.